rubbing his face all over the couch.
Dog is dogging.
Mm-hmm.
And the channel is live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
D.
I am Christiana Ellis. Our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer as Zaylene,
Hey guys.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn,
Good evening.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina,
Hello, friends.
Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry,
Maybe I should just have a separate book for all the questions.
and Chooch Schubert as Sequential.
Hello, hello. You mean like one book per question, or?
No, one book per answer.
One book per answer, though, but where does the question go then?
Questions are short, answers are long.
There you go. You have a question book that indexes the answer books.
Oh, an extra indexed book. That works too.
Well, last time on So Many Levels, we had a slightly different party composition than usual, and for some reason the way I said that made my dog run over to me as though I had called him for something important.
Well, we did have a beast, so, you know.
It's true. It's true. So, last week, we had Zinhorn and his adventures while the other pocket protectors were in the magic tower. And we were introduced to 4 neighborhood children, and of course to Buster, the grizzly bear-sized, gray-skinned, toothed like this monster that is wild and out of control, but also kind of sort of likes you and maybe sort of listens to what you say, but he seems to have some connection to the place where you and your parents spent 85 years in a pocket dimension, and where your parents, as far as you know, still are. So now you've got a pet, Zinhorn.
I know, it's so exciting.
And so you currently have come back into town, and you have just discovered that your friends, the rest of the pocket protectors, have emerged from this wizard tower, and we are going to pick up just as you were coming to tell them what was going on. But here's the question that so where is Buster at this point? Did he come back with you into town?
No, Buster stayed with the kids.
Right. Yeah, so they
in the woods.
Their goal there was to try to keep him there for now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that you think, Zinhorn, I guess I don't want to tell you what you think, but my guess is that based on Buster's body language, you think that is to call it a temporary solution.
Yeah, I need to get back to him. ASAP.
Yeah. So let us resume this conversation amongst the pocket protectors already in progress.
You will never guess what happened to me. It was totally awesome. But you got to come with me now. I have a new friend.
I have this vision of like everybody talking at once.
Yeah, well, I'm stuffing like
and then
this
we're big
tiny
and then small.
castle. I'm like stuffing the tiny castle in Nedry's pocket.
I think that Zinhorn, you have not entirely noticed that you have the dirty, gigantic paw prints of like bear footprints on your shoulders right here.
Big
at the
splotches of mud.
Yeah,
At
like
the word friends, when Zinhorn says friends, like Carolina like immediately perks up. What?
Yeah, I made some new friends, and one of them is like the size of a bear, and I think he's like really super my friend now. Like, I don't know if it's like a wizard's familiar kind of thing, but there was this thing that happened that I really need you guys to like talk to me about because you might know more about this than I do. But I can't leave him alone with the kids for very long because I think he's attached to me now. And if he comes into town, they're going to try and kill him, and that's not going to go very well for them. So let's go.
Wait,
What?
kids?
What day is this? How long are we away?
I'm I'm going.
The
I'm trying to keep people alive. You need to follow me now.
very dangerous pockets dealt with, too.
Yeah, we should probably check in on
FYI.
the pig, though.
Yeah.
Do we see the pig there? Is it kind of?
So it seems to me that based on the specific discussion that we had 2 weeks ago, you very deliberately said that you did not leave the pig tied up. And it has definitely
I thought we did.
wandered
We
away.
did.
Okay,
we
you guys, we
because
had this whole
sequential
thing.
had said that he took off a piece of the rope and like tied it up. Like we had.
Yeah, we
talked about
discussed that
Okay.
with the big, giant, like, never-ending rope, whether or not it was still outside because we had tied up the pig.
I'm just laughing because, as I recall that whole conversation, that was you arguing to me that you did leave him untied because you wanted the rope. And it was explained that you didn't necessarily need to leave the rope out there, but I thought that the understanding was you still did untie him. However, that's fine. If you left him tied up, he's, or rather she
At some
is
point,
not
I
going
said
to
that
the-
I just chop it off at whatever length we need, and then we're good to go.
but all right, it's fine.
But,
So
yeah, yeah.
Freckle is still there, sleeping it off.
Reunited with her master.
Yes, your halfling friend has gone over and has flopped onto Freckles' belly in a big sort of like hug. Freckle is too big for him to even get his arms all the way around.
So it clearly can't have been that long. That's good, at least.
So Zinhorn tells you guys you need to follow him right away, and starts going off.
Yeah, I think
And
you
you
guys are
guys
going to
are-
lose track of him if you're not following
Yeah.
here.
And you guys stop to check on a pig.
I didn't
Oh.
stop to check on a pig.
The
Wow,
pig
at least
did
looked over.
eat a lot of people.
Yes, but you got them all out.
You don't know that.
As long as he's
Yes,
not
I
killing
do. I
people.
just saw them.
Yes, he watched you all come out of the tower.
Yes.
Right, I'm going after Zinhorn, following him.
Okay.
Yeah,
said the magic
sounds
word.
important.
He seems rather worried about something.
So it's not as we established. It's not too far out of town, but in fact, on the way to the location, you encounter all of you see coming, crossing one of the fields in between the town and where you left the kids. You see Buster trudging along the fields, being unsuccessfully restrained by the four children who are trying to coax and pull Buster back, but he is coming towards you. And in fact, when he sees you, he breaks free of their grip altogether, knocks several of them over, and galumphs over to you. The rest of you see this gigantic thing charging.
Don't freak out. This is my friend Buster.
Nedry has freaked out and has run behind Sequential.
Zinhorn, make an athletics or acrobatics check.
Oh, I was going to try a new game with Buster.
Oh, well, you tell me. I was assuming he was going to try to tackle you, but you tell me if you got something
I
else.
thought he was going to try to tackle me too, and I was going to try and fly above him
Oh.
and jump behind him
Okay,
and start
well,
playing with him.
Let's call this a dexterity saving throw then.
Not athletics?
Well, I mean,
Okay,
strength saving throw, if you prefer.
I do.
Okay.
21.
Yeah, okay. I think you managed to lurch into the air with your wings spread wide, and Buster sort of drops his hindquarters and skids to a stop, looking over over himself in bewilderment, following you. He falls over backwards, trying to follow you overhead, and then is scrambling over to follow.
Well, I land back down and like go to like scratch him on the chin.
Okay. Make an animal handling check.
Alrighty. $14.
Okay, yeah, you are jostled as he kind of collides with you, but not so roughly that you are knocked over, and he definitely nuzzles into your affection.
Sorry, Master Zinhorn. Couldn't really hold on to him all that well.
That's okay. I kind of figured that this would happen, but I needed to find my old friends so that they could meet you, my new friends, and of course Buster.
And Carolina's like waving.
That is uncanny.
Yeah, so indeed, all of you are definitely now seeing this creature that is, it's pretty big. It looks pretty awful, but it seems like it's behaving reasonably friendly.
It's got 6 eyes.
6 eyes.
Wow.
Where did it come
Good,
from?
good hunter.
Definitely
That
doesn't
is
seem like it's
a
from around
really
here.
long story.
Well,
So
what time of day is it?
Well, that's a good question, because I think as you look into the sky to see, you see that it's getting towards late afternoon, which reminds you that the plan was that you were going to go meet your airship ride around sunset.
So that might be a problem.
yeah, I see that this is a problem. We might
Yeah, what's-
not be able to use the airship, and
Well, you're not planning on keeping all of them, are you?
no,
Well,
but
don't
I
they have
think
parents?
Buster is planning on keeping me. No, I think the kids
Oh.
are going to go back to their families.
Well, we
But-
could go with you. Some of us could.
No.
No. You all seem like nice children, but we do a lot of really dangerous things.
Yeah.
You're a really weird lady.
Thank you.
So,
Well,
any way to make this long story short, Zinhorn? I definitely want all the details, and I have a lot of questions, but I've got a few immediate ones.
I
So
feel like on the
apparently,
way there, he would have told us some of this stuff.
Well, we were trying to keep up to him, and I just
Yeah.
think Andrew would.
So apparently, the place where I went with my parents and lost 85 years, Buster was there too, and he knows the song that was playing there, the music, and when I played the music for him on my flute, like some weird stuff happened, and his eyes sort of flashed. And I don't know if that song is like some sort of charm spell or something, but he was really attached to the kids. And then after I played that song, he's been super focused on me.
Yeah, during all of this, by the way, he is definitely just like, he is giving every indication that Zinhorn should continue these scritches indefinitely. And in fact, is kind of working his way to trying to lie on top of Zinhorn, just in sort of a sprawling way. But he's so big that it's this conversation is accompanied by this action.
Do you know the song, Carolina? You're the only one who seems to know songs all that much, although apparently Zinhorn can play it.
I can play it.
With the animal on top of you?
Probably not. No. But First and foremost, do you guys need anything from the book ship? Because I don't think we can take the book ship anymore. I don't think he'll fit, and I don't think there'll be enough food for him. Apparently, he's doubled in size every week for the last 2 weeks.
Oh.
He started like, small dog, and then became like small pony, and now he's like the size of a bear. And hopefully, he's not going to get too much bigger.
Well,
We
I was
might have
gonna
a
say-
solution.
He really
I-
likes thornberry twists. You didn't bring any?
I didn't have time to. Perhaps you can run and get some for us so that we have some for our journey, and we'll wait for you here. If I give you some money, can you run and get us some?
Dirk is definitely torn, but he likes them too.
All right.
Nellie just looks at her sister all like, you can do it.
All right, so like get us a dozen. How much does that cost?
I don't know.
500 gold.
Sounds about
Uh,
right.
No, I don't think so. I did
The
buy
answer
some
is
earlier.
probably 5 silver.
Okay, so I will give him 10 silver and said, make it 2 dozen.
All right. I'll see if it goes far enough.
Okay.
Yeah, trotting off. Although looking back every once in a while, because doesn't really want to leave Buster behind with these strange people.
Buster
So-
does watch you leaving it with a little bit of a.
We might actually have a solution to his size.
Oh,
We uncovered a strange
Hmm.
shrink enlarge ray inside the castle that
well, but it's kind of broken.
they
Well,
can
I mean,
temporarily fix it.
In
so
theory,
in theory,
we might be able to
I
run
have-
him through the castle.
I have temporarily I could make him smaller. I'm sorting through some things, but there's a spell that I have that I could. I don't think we want to make him any bigger, but I could, in theory. But I could also make him smaller, but it would only last for a minute. So maybe just to get him through the door of the castle and up the stairs, that might work.
You said he eats a lot. I wonder if he eats the same amount if he's small.
I can't imagine that he would. His stomach would be smaller, right?
Maybe.
apparently
Yeah.
he doesn't.
And the
poop
food would be
either.
bigger.
You think that he has picked up somewhat on this talk of food because he is definitely starting to drool and look around at all of you.
Nedry takes 3 steps back.
I'm not so sure about this.
What if we take him in the castle and see if we can make him smaller?
Okay. I think we can try that here.
Yeah, Nedry, you have the castle. I gave it to you.
Oh.
Oh, I forgot. So we found the place where Buster came through into this world, or at least where he was found by the kid who went to go buy pastries. I forgot your character's name.
Dirk.
Dirk. And there was an existing portal, and like the music came through it, but then these creepy hands came through it, like, on arms that were like 5 foot long, and I show them the drawings that I made.
Does that ring a bell at all?
There's lots of weird things in the universe.
Yeah.
Fair.
So like they cast some sort of like glamour on us to make us think we were hearing the real song, but it wasn't the real song. It was like almost a mockery of the real song. And then they tried to pull us in, and Buster actually is the one that saved me from getting pulled in.
Oh, what a good boy.
Well, how do you know it was really the right song then? Could have been fooled.
I could have been. I'm willing to admit that, but it was very similar to that song, but very discordant. Like I said, almost like instead of being a happy party song, it was like the same song, only played as if you wanted to like make somebody's brain split in half and run out your ears.
So
Maybe-
what is this song? Could you play it for me?
Yeah, I'll do one chorus because I kind of don't want to accidentally charm you if there's some sort of charm effect based on the song.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get out my flute and I'll do one verse and one chorus.
Okay, so certainly, as soon as you get out the flute, you've got Buster at full attention, just watching you really carefully. And as you start to play, he starts doing his own sing-along version of it. And I think to the rest of you, it's very clear that like Buster is trying to sing like the same song. He's not good at it. It like doesn't sound great. But it's clear that there's a connection. He is singing along to the song that Zinhorn is playing, and not just making random noises. But yes, as Zinhorn is playing it, and it's just a flute, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a flute.
I think Carolina, you can make a history check, but just as an FYI, the DC is high.
Yeah, I only have a +1, but I mean, I'll give it a shot. 14.
No, I don't think it's. I mean, it's nice. It's kind of a nice sort of, almost like. It's sort of a. The party is starting to wind down, but we're all still drunk and hanging out vibe to it.
Well, my goal here was actually is to see if I could learn it and replicate it.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I think that you are skilled enough that you, having heard the melody, you could sing it yourself. But it's just, it's just a melody right now.
I'm gonna probably like play it out on my lute, just to like, does it go like this, and just kind of see if I get it right.
When you start to play it, Buster suddenly, like, he gets to his feet again, and he's watching you, and he doesn't look like angry or aggressive, but he's looking at you like, what is this? What is this? What are you doing?
You might want to hold off on that.
I'm going to try and
Interesting.
calm him down.
Okay. Yeah, I think with you, you kind of soothing him, he relaxes a little bit, but then there's still sort of a at Lynn.
Is the place where you had seen the portal far from here?
No, I can take you there.
We should take a look at least, see if there's anything more we can determine.
Yeah,
Although with caution, thank you.
once Buster like ate one of the hands, just kind of ripped the arm off and ate one of the hands, the portal closed. I tried to do a dispel magic on it after hitting it with my breath weapon, but it was really weird. Like I could feel the dispel magic unraveling the magic of the whatever portal was letting these creepy hands come out, and it was like it flipped on me, and all of a sudden the hands were holding onto my hands and pulling me in.
I have a theory about that, but it's not fully formed yet.
Quick question: did all the kids go to get the pastries, or are some of them still hanging out?
In my mind, they'd all go as a gaggle.
I can only
Yeah.
speak for Dirk. He went.
I mean, Dirk definitely went because he was tasked.
I don't think they all would have
Dirk
went
would
because
go.
I think they'd be afraid that they're going to come back and Buster's going to be gone.
Mm.
They're just not
So-
that smart.
Okay, I just wanted to establish if they're still there or not. So whoever of them
Torg would
wants
go.
to be there. So Torg would have gone with Dirk.
Mm-hmm. Keep an eye on those base pasties.
What about what was it? Nora, Velnora?
Ven and Nelly?
Ven. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ven and Nelly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben and Nelly.
Yeah. Well, unless Nelly ordered Ven to go, she'd stay right there.
All right, yeah. So these two girls that look similar, maybe sisters, are still hanging out.
And you're just staring at you guys.
Do you know anything about the portal? Or, what was its name? Buster?
Scribbles that down his book.
Yeah, Buster turns when
oh.
you say the name.
I'm not going to say that again.
The portal, I mean, I don't know what everybody else was hearing, but I did not hear the song that Mr. Zinhorn was playing. It was terrible.
It was awful.
And there were these gross hands reaching out and trying to grab everybody and pull them in, and it was disgusting.
It was so scary.
It was very scary. But I mean, Buster, he's Buster, you know? He eats a lot, and we had to scramble to find food for him every day. And
So much food.
he just keeps growing and growing, and But he's
That's
really-
going to be a problem.
he's really good.
It's the right answer, though.
I would like all of the adults here to make a perception check.
Such a weird.
It's daylight.
Perception. Not
Natural 20, 25.
12.
Soft 20.
I got a natural 1 for
Aha.
a 1.
Ah,
What was yours, Zayling?
Didn't roll
Oh,
because the thing wasn't open, so I had to re-roll it.
what? And sequential. What was yours?
Oh, no, mine was 14.
Okay, 14, and then
12.
okay. Well,
Hey,
so
twins.
so I think sequential. You see at one like corner of this field, you see a pair of humans that look like they're maybe the farmers who own this field, staring off at the group, looking like they're talking to they're having a hushed, whispered conversation amongst themselves. They're still like 150 yards away. They're a ways off, but that's close enough to see a group of strange-looking people around a thing. Zinhorn,
Did we go off to I thought we went to that crater thing.
you only
Was
got
I-
halfway
no?
there before
Oh, okay.
you met up with where Buster had already been trying to follow Zinhorn.
yeah, we have not actually moved toward where
Yeah,
the
so
portal was.
I mean, you guys can start doing that, but as of this perception check, you had not yet. But Zinhorn, what you see is that there's like a big tree that you passed on the way from town, and you spot someone, a slim-looking half-elf, in kind of dark, nondescript clothing, that was definitely leaning around the side of the tree and watching you. And as soon as you kind of looked over there at him, he ducked back behind the tree.
Oh, great. There's somebody watching us.
Is it
Uh,
Well,
somebody
I
from
mean-
in town?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are still wanted people.
We're one.
Yeah.
We're not exactly being subtle standing here in the middle of the field with this Buster.
No,
Yeah.
like the people in the city that we just vacated are not happy.
You all hear, and you see Buster like standing, doing the like grizzly bear like threat pose, looking over at that tree when he sees you looking over there with concern, Zinhorn.
Yeah.
We should get going.
Yeah, I think we should get going because if Buster takes matters into his own hands, whoever is on the other side of that tree that I just saw, half elf in dark clothing, they're not going to have a really great day. All right.
Is that
Do you
the
think-
guy from in town with the pig?
You don't recognize the person you saw, Zinhorn.
Okay.
How
This
much
is
do you think
somebody
you?
new.
How much do you think you can control this thing, Buster?
Buster.
Zenhorn?
I don't know yet, but
Oh my!
he's been very good around the kids. And if he sees that you're my friends, I don't believe that he will harm you. That said, I'm like really seriously sure he won't harm me. But I'm only somewhat sure about you guys. So at the very least, I think I will have to be walking.
And you want to bring him with us?
I don't know if I have a choice. He comes to me of his own volition.
Buster takes a couple steps towards the tree and Ruah!
Buster, this way. And I start walking toward where the portal was. Come on, Buster. Then, Nellie, we're going to be where the creepy hands were. And there's a guy behind the tree, and I don't know who that is. So why don't you stay with us or like go tell the people who I guess own this field that we're leaving their field.
Yeah, so Buster does follow, but it's definitely Thor Ragnarok, big monster vibes.
And Nedry will keep the farthest distance he can while still being able to see everybody.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we may have to walk because Buster probably is going to need to hunt because I don't know that we can carry enough food for him.
Well, we do have that. Nedry's got that bag.
I
You want to
think
put him in the
Power.
backpack with the?
might be the better choice. Actually,
Oh, yeah. Put Buster in the bag.
well, we recently acquired a tower. We didn't get a chance to really explain, but
That tower would get demolished, though. He's very big. Or he'd get so small we'd never find him.
Yeah. And I mean,
Can't
come
leave him
on.
there.
I don't want to step on him like I did that poor bard's loot.
well,
If we shrink him down small enough, you could just put him in a pocket. Like a
Not for
literal
long.
pocket.
not for
Well-
long though. That's
Well, no, if he goes through the doors, then he has to go back through the doors and down the
Well-
stairs to get big again.
Right.
we
That
haven't
seems
tested
permanent.
the idea whether when you leave the tower, if you return back to your normal size.
Well, there's
That
only one way to
wasn't a-
find out.
Well, there are plenty of ways to find out, but
Well, there's only one way right now, I think is what she means. Like, we don't have time to do experiments and consult experts and stuff. I mean, we're going to have to do our own experiments if we want to figure it out, right?
I can do an experiment. Rather
see if
than
it
letting
works.
Guys,
letting Buster go through the first time uncontrolled, I can go through.
Okay.
I think you guys have made it to the edge of the woods by now, so like you're not at the portal yet, but at least you're leaving sort of plain sight from the fields.
First things first, though, we need to know what the heck this is. I haven't been able to figure out any magics to be able to close these yet. And as you described, Zinhorn, that we're dealing with something more fundamental than the magics we understand. This is very old and very powerful magic. Almost, well, it would be kind of like trying to use magic on a wooden door, I think. The door would resist, because it's not made of magic. And I'm not entirely sure if we can classify this in the same way. If we're dealing with Denetherian magic, that is. Which I'm thinking that the portals are somehow connected. But I'm not exactly sure how it all ties together. I told you my theory wasn't finished.
Yeah, I know, but there's
At
no
the very
reason to
least-
think that the place that me and my parents got pulled into is Denethurian. I mean, it seemed to be more like Feywild, right?
Well, yes and no. There are some edge connections that haven't been able to research because we haven't made it to a library, or well, that's one of the reasons we want to check out the town. But in any case, if we can't close this, we should at least try to put up a warning. Maybe
I think it
let
is
people know.
closed.
It,
Well,
you stopped feeling the strange feeling on the back of your neck that you were before. Like, so that stopped.
And Buster stopped growling at it.
Yeah. So it like
well,
you don't know if it's gone, like, or closed, like you can close a door that could open again.
Okay.
the fact that it would appear twice means that it can appear again. We just don't know exactly what the circumstances are. Obviously, you weren't here the first time, but Buster was.
There was a storm, and Dirk heard music. He heard the song, and he was running around town and then trying to find the music, and it led him out here. And then, like, I showed them the depression in the dirt, and like that's where he found Buster. So I'm assuming Buster came through the portal and landed on the ground, and then it was, Buster was with the kids for 2 weeks, growing to the size he is now. And
So,
You were here the second time, and the music is related somehow to you.
yeah, I mean, like, when I heard the song, like I knew everything was tied together, and that Buster had been in the same place that I was. Like, I just knew it. And then I played the song for him. And like the third time I played that little snippet that I played for Lynn, his eyes flashed like, and ever since then, like, he's just been fixated on me.
But it's strange. It doesn't seem like it maybe didn't have the same effect when I did it. So
No.
it might have something to do with the fact that you were physically there. Maybe it has somehow changed you magically.
Yeah. Some
It
kind
could
of
work somewhat like
resonance.
a curse, where it's attached to you, but very difficult to detect.
when Zinhorn, when your family was trapped in that place, was there a storm before you were trapped?
I was real young. I was like 12 or something. I don't remember there being a storm, but I want to find out, like, if there's like some kind of magic that helps you remember better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the whole experience of how you got there specifically is pretty hazy.
I
Yeah.
would be really curious to find out, because if there was a storm here, I would also be curious to follow the path of the storm that our airship ran into to find out if that opened another portal to this place.
Yeah.
Or if
So-
this storm touched down in other places too.
Well,
I think it's all
incidentally,
tied into that storm god, right?
During this time, Buster was like paying attention to something up in the trees, and then startling all of you, he leaps into the air with a "Ruh!" and like jumps 20 feet into the air into the branches of a tree, comes crashing down pell-mell, breaking off a big limb of a tree, lands sideways, and then clambers to his feet, licking his chops. And you see he's got a feather
Okay.
stuck to his cheek, like to his jaw.
I'm
Boy.
He's
pretty
hungry.
sure.
That's some reach.
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy.
So what I remember is that my parents were like really famous adventurers, and they were looking for like some kind of party in a portal dimension. And so like we found, like, they felt that it was safe enough to take me with them. And then we got into this place, and there was a party there, and there was this song playing, and like it felt like we had been there for like 2 days. And I was with them, and like everything seemed normal, and then I had to go to the bathroom, so I just wandered off, and then I wasn't there anymore, and I was here, and it was 85 years later, and that's, like when I got lucky, and they sent me to the orphanage. I don't know what would have happened to me if they didn't.
Wow. You've never told us that part of the story. At least I don't remember.
Mm.
There was nothing unusual when you wandered off. Like, you didn't see a storm then. Either.
I have no memory of a storm. I don't even remember where I landed, or like I kind of remember wandering a little bit, but I don't remember who found me or where I was or how I got to the city.
Your
like-
parents were looking for something specific. If we could find that same
Yeah.
trail, we could probably follow it a bit further.
But like our village was the village that we came from was all dragonborn, and I have never been able to find anyone who's heard of the village like the village that I grew up in.
What was its name?
I don't remember.
No. You were really young.
I mean, it might be on the other side of the world, or on a different plane. I mean, if it moved me 85, I mean, to me it was like 2 or 3 days. If time there was so much different that 85 years passed here, I could easily have come out, thousands and thousands of miles away, or on a different plane, or who knows.
I wonder, Zinhorn, since you are a cleric of Rushama, have you ever considered making a pilgrimage to the mountain?
I have not. I was very focused on like doing the best I could for my neighborhood and my city, and like trying to take care of any kid who was in a similar situation that I was in, so that they had a chance to grow up.
Well,
And
maybe
like
it's
I
now
didn't
time to turn to your needs a little bit.
Well, and that's what I realized when we were on the book ship. It's like you guys were all studying and trying to learn new stuff, and I was just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. And I had this huge mystery that I had just kind of packed away and decided not to look at it. And I think it's, kind of telling that once I started trying to find out more about this, like almost immediately, we run into Buster and the song and a portal to this place, whatever it may be.
And you'd never seen anything like it before.
You mean like the creepy hands that came out of the portal?
No, like Buster.
No, I have no idea what Buster is. I mean, he's really cool, and he's really friendly and affectionate to me, but he's also clearly a wild animal that needs to eat a lot of food in order to stay healthy. And
Yeah, as you're saying that, he starts staring at you and
I
Well,
think I have
maybe
some
if he was
rations.
smaller, he would have to eat less.
Well,
so do we want to try it?
Well, you
If
guys
it goes on a
mentioned
diet, maybe it'll shrink.
I don't think that you can put a creature like that on a diet.
No.
Mm-mm.
It would start eating us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look
Except
at
for
the-
sequential, because sequential, he would be the toothpick, probably.
Chew toy.
yeah.
So we can do this quick experiment, see if it works, and with Nedry. And if it does, then we can make him smaller so we can take him with us and we can meet up with the book ship. I mean, we can't leave him hanging there. That would be very rude.
Yeah, but we can always send a message to them if we can't continue with that traveling with them. But I'm also worried about that elf in dark clothing, half elf, that's like on our heels.
I'd like to take a few minutes to study the portal area too, if I could.
But
But we can start with the experiment because that should be fairly
Let's-
quick.
Well,
If it's not,
so here's the thing: like I can only open the door so many times a day. But so like maybe somebody should go looking around for whatever the key is.
In the castle?
Yeah.
it does present a certain problem though.
Mhm.
Although I can go backwards through rather than going forwards.
We can't keep the door open either. Once we go in, it closes.
Yeah,
Right.
and I can
can't
open it two
the
more
door.
times.
Well, there's also some way to open the door. We just never figured that out.
Well, I mean,
All we did was knock before. We didn't try
Yeah.
to actually open it.
we just walked right in, so we should be able to go in and then come back out.
Well, that'd be the first test, I suppose.
And I'll
all right.
take the little castle out and put it on a hill that I think is going to hold it once it gets big.
Okay.
Did we actually know how to embiggen it or how to change it at all, or is it all on its own?
That's a good question.
Try knocking again. Maybe that'll work.
Okay.
Bend down.
I you know what? Sure. I think just Nedry disappears into it, but then all of the rest of you are, buffeted by a shockwave as the tower suddenly to full size, and Nedry has disappeared inside. But this alarms Buster pretty dramatically. And he launches himself at the tower and starts clawing at the walls of it and just roaring, just like, and he's just tearing at it. It's not making
I
a
would
lot of
like-
headway, but he is clearly very upset.
I would like to cast Calm Emotions.
Okay, okay. Now, does that only work on humanoids?
Yeah, it does. Okay, so then I won't.
I'm
Yeah, it
gonna
says
try
each
to-
humanoid.
Calm
Never
him
mind.
down and
Okay.
tempt him with some rations.
Okay. Well, so that'll be another animal handling, and the fact that you're offering food is going to counteract the disadvantage you would otherwise have for him currently being on a bloody rampage.
Oh, natural 20.
Nice.
Wow.
22.
So
Nice.
how do you approach, given that he currently is like just in an utter rage? He just seems like there's no thought here. This is just blind fury, tearing at a building. So
I'm just gonna scream his name at the top of my lungs with the voice of command. Buster, stop. Food.
and he jumps right. He is not gentle. He goes
yeah,
right
I'm-
for the food, and he is like, if you don't let go fast enough, he's.
I
your hand's going in
understand.
his mouth. Yeah. So.
Right, and the claws come out, and I start scritching him behind the ear, making sure to stay clear of the leg. Because
He halfway through chewing, he briefly turns to just back at the tower.
it's okay. It's okay. You're okay.
Explain to him that it's a building.
It's a
Because we
building.
need to get him to go in there.
It's okay. It's all good. You're safe.
So, meanwhile, Nedry, you are once again in the tower. The door has closed behind you.
Okay. Does anything look different? Has it reset itself, or does it look exactly the same? If I just
Uh,
wander down the hallway, there was a room that was somewhat disturbed.
Well, you still had the first floor room door propped with the chair, and it is as you
Okay.
left it.
Okay. All right. That part's good.
And I'll move the chair out to unprop the door so that wouldn't be a place that Buster could get into if that's a problem.
Okay.
Taking a look again at the plaque by the door, but I still don't have a solution for that.
All right. Let's see if this works.
And try to open the door.
It does not open.
Okay. That's pretty expected. All right.
And he's just going to start to think about the thing there, and probably wander into that room again and see if we can look for a key.
Okay.
But also realizing it could be a different scale.
Well, also, I think as you may recall from your initial inspection of it, it could be anything. Like it's almost a little bit like a combination lock in the
Oh,
sense
right,
that
yeah.
like you just have to know what it is, and you press it against the plate, and that's what opens it. It's looking for some specific thing to be pressed against the plate. Doesn't have to
actually-
look like a key or anything.
He's going to sit down, put his palm on the door, and start ritually casting Identify and see if that works.
Okay. Okay.
So the rest can
that's-
decide what they're doing in that 11
yeah,
minutes.
So
'cause-
that's going to take a little time. So what are the rest of you doing then?
Well, I think after
Well-
about 5 minutes, it occurs to Carolina that, oh, he's not going to be able to get out. And I'm going to, like, knock on the door to see if after about 5
Okay.
minutes, knock on
Yeah.
the door and see if I
So
can
yeah, you
get in.
disappear into there and stumble over Nedry, who is like sitting right in front of the door with his hand on it.
That's exactly
Easy.
what I was thinking. That he was just going to get lost or not find a way to exit.
So the rest of you now are sitting outside the tower. Yeah. So because the door does not open and Carolina walks inside, she just like disappears.
Yeah. I feel like at least some of us should guard this tower and door,
Yeah, I'll stay out
Yeah.
here.
which I'm happy to do.
Buster and I will walk the perimeter.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep a lookout for that half elf.
Okay. Go ahead and
Exactly.
make another perception check for me as you.
Watch
Okay.
for
Sure.
half elf.
Perception.
I got a 23.
Oh, you're also looking with the.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
roaming though. I'm
Okay, you're just watching. Okay.
I got an 8.
Okay. I think that Buster is not a stealthy companion to patrol with. He will occasionally, leap into a shrub, and then, and come around, and then he's also just like tromping around you. He's constantly walking in circles around you, and it's kind of distracting. Meanwhile, Sequential, you are just sort of staying in place, making a lookout, and with a 23, you spot not a terribly long distance away, but in the branches of a tree, you see what you think looks like there's someone in the branches of that tree watching you.
okay.
They're maybe like 90 feet out.
I'm not going to announce it or go after them right now.
What are you doing, Zaline? Did you also go in, or?
No, I'm just waiting. I'm keeping an eye out for the kids
Okay.
because they were supposed to be coming back and we kind of left. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but I told them where we were going.
So like.
I'd tell Zaylene, so there are eyes in the trees.
Oh, and I will kind of look around.
So are the two sisters still there, or did they leave again with the at some point? Did you send them away?
Well, he gave them the option to either go and tell the farmers
Oh, right.
that
Yeah.
there was a dude, or we could go with them. So I think that they would have followed Zinhorn.
Okay. Well, so they're still hanging out too. Although I would guess that they're probably getting bored.
Yeah, probably.
Like, the tower
Although
was
it did-
really cool when it appeared,
Yeah.
and then people went inside, but that seems scary. And now nothing else is happening.
Yeah. I think Nellie would be like, you should go see if they came back and tell them where we are.
You're talking to Ben.
Yeah.
She wanders off back towards the field.
And
Sequential,
just
I
kinda
think
watch them.
what you notice actually is that as Ven heads off back in that direction, because you had spotted this individual but stayed cool about it, you notice that after watching Ven like walk back out towards the town, that person stealthily climbs back out of the tree and goes to follow her.
Huh.
Oh no, I'm gonna get kidnapped.
Oh, it's the Men in Black.
Hmm.
boy.
Would you tell anybody?
Yeah, I would go ahead if Zalene's hanging. Norn comes back. Yeah, I would say it. So we were being watched, but it seems like they weren't spying on us, but perhaps had eyes on the children.
Oh. Hearing that, Zaylene will just like use her skin. She's gonna shadow and she's gonna go off in that direction, keeping to the shadows to try to catch up and follow behind and make sure that nothing happens to her.
Yeah, and while for like story's sake, Zinhorn should be here, a child in trouble.
I mean, you tell me what
Yeah.
Zinhorn does.
Oh, he takes off like a shot,
Okay.
and like he knows that Buster's coming with him. Yeah, if the child does not know this, the person who is now following them, that person is going to have. I was happy to leave the guy alone as long as he wasn't threatening us, but going after a child, no.
All right. So we're going to briefly cut to Lynn and Nedry. Are you just still in there from, like Nedry, are you still doing the identify?
He's still
Carolina, what
tracing
you doing?
symbols in the air. Yep. Kind of looking a little
that
bit annoyed.
happens, because Lynn would just be bored, so she would go upstairs and go through the small door
Okay.
and probably start like climbing up the side of Nedry's robe.
Is it obvious or not? Because if it's not obvious, he'd probably go like flick, thinking it was an insect or something, trying to pay attention
Well,
to his
you're
spell.
definitely focused on your ritual.
It's true.
So
6-inch.
I mean, yeah, she's tiny, so I don't know.
want to make the equivalent of an unarmed attack roll there, Nedry?
Let's see. That's 19.
Okay. Yeah, Lynn, I think that you are brushed off of Nedry's shoulder by just a. And you go flying, and I think you're not probably all that high, but I think you're gonna take 10 bludgeoning damage as you
Jeez.
tumble down the apparent the from Nedry's shoulder.
So yeah, you would
And I-
definitely hear a oh.
Yeah, Nedry, you kind of brush and then you hear ah! Yeah.
Probably some curses in Sylvan if you understand them, but because it sounds prettier.
Does not. Okay.
working on a new
That's-
film.
See if he can maintain concentration while this craziness is going on. That's what, a Constitution save? I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's Constitution save, and sometimes
Nope.
you. All right. So yeah, you get
There's a-
distracted enough that your ritual. You know what? I think the ritual doesn't necessarily need to be continuous. Like you have to do those things, but I think a brief interruption. I don't think that doesn't mean you can't start it again. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you have
Okay.
to start over from scratch.
There's a curse in Gnomish. I don't know if you know Gnomish or not, but it sounds like a curse, which is weird because Nedry doesn't normally curse. But then he starts looking around.
Where are you?
Just like getting up from the floor, like with my hands on my hips, is like, I'm right here.
Gonna reach down and pick her up.
This is unusual.
Hold her up to the face.
Sorry. I just thought it was a bug or something. You shouldn't have snuck up on me like that. That's what my parents always said.
And kind of put her down again.
I want to finish this. If I'm going to understand the tower, this is the only way I know how with any reasonable amount of time. Did you find anything that looked like a key, though? I still haven't figured out that part. And that might not be revealed by the spell.
I didn't look, but I couldn't go.
If you want, I mean, you can stick around. I don't mind.
And he'll start to pick up the trace in the air with his pen.
Just poke around in the cracks while I'm tiny.
All right. Just kick over a tiny fleck of dust. Yeah, I mean, there's not much right around here in just like the landing. But it certainly, I think it was Carolina's first experience being small compared to other people being big, except for the halfling, right? So, yeah. So as that's happening, let's catch back up with Ven, who is on her way, to meet up with where the other kids might be coming back with pastries. And as you are on your way back, you hear a voice just saying, "Pardon me, little girl."
Kind of like start a little bit and turn around. Yes?
And you see you see a half-elf man who looks, reasonably young, maybe like in, early 30s compared to, like standard human aging, and in kind of just nondescript clothing. And he just kind of says, "Pardon me, I wonder if you could help me out a little bit. My friends are out there, and I was trying to, I'm trying to prepare a surprise for them, and I wonder if you could just tell me a couple of things."
Tell you what.
Well, I mostly just wanted to know how long they've been in town, and just how you came to meet up with them. I wanted to find out, if you've become good friends with them, like I am. You can make an insight check if you want, but of course, standard, just straight D20.
Yeah, D20. Let me get my D20. 17.
Okay. Yeah, this guy's not like, he's not being on the level with you. Like, he doesn't seem mean exactly, but he's definitely trying to get you to tell him something about all the people out there. And I think though that so like what is your first reaction kind of reading this on his face?
Well, it's been kind of a day, and at this point, she suspects everything.
Yeah.
So I think her eyes would kind of narrow a little bit. If you're friends with them, what are their names? Not that she would know what.
Well, see, that's the thing, is that when I met them, we all called each other nicknames. So, like, I don't know if they told you their special friend nicknames or not. So, if I told you the names that I called them, But then in the middle of that sentence, you hear, you certainly recognize as Buster. Roar! Ba-zoom, ba-zoom. And Zinhorn, as you were charging in that direction, Buster absolutely took the cue, and he is outpacing you, and he is charging straight at this guy who is standing over Ven right now.
I'm going to try calling him back.
Okay.
So I'm
Worry
gonna.
about dinner.
Yeah, because the guy right now is currently talking to Ven, but he's not like
Right.
giving a threatening
He's not
body
threatening
language.
her. So like, I thought he was, doing something threatening
Well, yeah,
toward her by following her.
Yeah.
He's not threatening her, so I'm going to try and call Buster back to me.
Okay. This is with disadvantage because he is on the hunt now.
Oh, well, that's lunch taken care of.
Scar this child for life.
17.
Okay. So, once again, like, just describe. Are you just saying, Buster to me, or like, what
Yeah.
are you
Buster!
doing?
And I'm going to slow down a little.
At this point,
Yeah.
yeah, he stops his charge enough to look back at you and then look back at the thing. Like, he's basically like, well, okay, but look, but there's the guy you were chasing. I was going to get him for you. That sort of
Yeah.
attitude. In the meantime, that guy has absolutely just turned tail and is sprinting away from you as fast as possible.
I
Okay.
will actually activate my cloak, my shadow cloak, and
Okay.
send out the tentacles to catch him.
Okay. Is there like a saving throw or you
I
what's
haven't
your
used it
range
in a
for
minute. Let me check.
Yeah. I'm going to let Zaylene take care of him. Otherwise, he's going to be a snack.
A DC 17 strength check.
strength, huh? What's the
Yep.
range? I mean, you know what? It's fine. Tell
At
me what the range-
120 feet.
Oh yeah, you're good then.
Yeah.
So strength saving throw.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's not his best thing. Ooh, he rolled relatively high, but not high enough. He got a 16.
Nice. So he is now all wrapped up in these swarm of hungry black ribbons.
Yeah. How does Ven feel about that?
Oh, she's just standing there wide-eyed, and like you could see her eyes like watering, like she's about to cry. Like, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you even recognize Zaylene because she's all like wreathed in shadow now. She just looks like a shadow monster.
This has been a
It's
very
not
bad
actually
day.
entirely unlike those hands that reached out of the. Yeah.
Not okay.
but-
Not okay. Not okay.
Yeah, and then. But yeah, so that guy is absolutely just screaming his head off in panic. Right
I'm
now.
going to walk up to it. It's Ven, right?
Ven, yeah. Venora,
Okay.
but yeah, Ven.
Yeah. Ven, look at me. Look at me. Buster's going to be okay. I don't know who this guy is, but we need to deal with him. And you don't want to be here when that happens. I think he's a
very
bad man.
clear she doesn't want to be here at all.
We were afraid he was going to hurt you.
he said he was your friend and that he knew you, but you say you don't know him, so I don't. And like her lip is just trembling. She does not know what's going on.
You're a smart kid. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. He was lying to you.
In the background, I think we actually literally, you guys are having this conversation in the foreground. In the background, we see Zaylene has got this guy he's flopping like a fish wrapped up in these shadow tendrils.
And you just see this shadow just walking towards the tendrils like, to catch up to them.
Yeah, so that's happening in the background while you have this conversation with
Yeah. I think it's I will keep my promise. I will come back as often as I can so that you guys can still be friends with Buster. But I don't know who this guy is, and I was really afraid that he was going to hurt you. That's why we ran over here, because we wanted to make sure you were safe. But we need to figure out who he is and why he's following us.
Would Nellie have come with? Because that's who she would be looking for.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
I think
everyone else
hearing
raced
that-
off after Ben, right?
Yeah, I think hearing that somebody was following her sister would have run after Zinhorn and Buster.
Mm.
So she's coming up behind.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure the boys share the pastries with you.
Can we go home now?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
Come on. And they give like this crazy black ribbon mess, like a wide berth.
Yeah. I don't want to put this on you, Zaleen, but I like to imagine, again, from the background, this guy still writhing around in the tentacles, screaming, "You, Rethal and Shadow," but you see them leaving and just wave.
Bye! It was nice meeting you! I imagine then that Nellie and Ben just kind of run screaming. This is terrible. I want my mom. And yet we can't go home and tell our mom because we will get in trouble.
And what were you doing there?
Nothing. I don't know the sheets from the warehouse. Nothing.
So, yeah. So I think Nellie and Ben head on back towards the town. In the meantime, I think your captive has stopped screaming, and he's gone very still. Like you know that this wouldn't kill him, but he is currently just like playing dead, perhaps.
Yeah. And the last time I just let it go, the person got away, so I am not going to do that.
All right.
Yeah, well,
can
Buster
talk to
wasn't
him.
there.
I know.
Oh, so you bring him down to where we can talk to him?
Oh, yeah, like we have to stay about 30 feet back, but he can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, Buster does not like this shadow ball at all.
I'm calming him, scratching him behind the ear, talking gently to him.
Yeah, he very much gives you the attitude of, okay, you're in charge, but I think you're wrong on this one, so I'm going to keep watching it.
All right. You, half-elf, what's your name?
Evan.
Insight check.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I don't trust him. 15.
He seems terrified out of his mind.
Okay, good.
All right, Evan. Why were you following us?
I was hired to watch what you were doing.
Hired by who?
I don't know, some guy from Pashan.
Some guy from Pashan. How do you know
Okay.
he was from Pashan?
He told me he was a friend of the Emperor.
What was his name?
He said to just call him Nelson, but I don't think that was... I don't know if that was really his name. That's just what he said to call him.
What did he look like?
Well, can you let me out of this thing? I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
You have to convince my friend with the ribbons.
I'm talking to whoever can let me out of this thing. Please, I was just made to say in what you were doing, that's all.
I'll
let
drop it.
Let me explain what's going to happen if you run. You see my friend Buster here? And I scratch Buster behind the ear.
Mm-hmm.
Buster is going to go insane because he thinks you were trying to harm a child.
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
Okay. 20, dirty 20.
Yeah, he kind of just.
All right. So, no running.
No running.
You keep your voice low and quiet. And my friend will let you down. And we're going to have a talk. And if you run, Buster will chase you. And Buster is very hungry.
So, I will give you just the added context in case it wasn't clear that you are definitely gilding the lily here. This guy is
Okay.
already like.
I'm not sure I can control Buster, so I'm also saying this for Zayleen's sake.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
So, but
Because-
yeah, so this is basically the guy who is already cowering at your feet, and now you're making it extra clear how screwed he is.
Well, yeah, I want to
So
make
I'm-
sure that
Yeah, no, I'm just
Yeah.
providing context of his body language. He seems utterly
Okay.
defeated and terrified.
How much money did he pay you?
It was going to be payment based on the information I gave him.
Well, what kind of information did he think was valuable?
He said he just wanted to know what you were doing in town and if you talked to anybody or did anything weird. And I'm gonna be honest, you guys talked to a lot of people and did a lot of weird things.
We did. We helped a lot of
He
people.
offers he's holding, like, very gently, he's holding like a little notebook.
Okay.
I take it.
He gives it up.
What does it say?
Yeah, I will
Most
open it up
recent,
and look through it.
the most recent entry says, meeting with children in woods with a big gray monster.
Yeah, who looks more suspicious here, really?
So, what? Can I take a look through it? So,
Yeah, as you look through it, it is a shorthand paraphrasing of pretty much everything you've done since you've been in town.
does he
that
mention
he
how
would have
we're
been able to
helping
see.
lots of people?
Well, what he captures is that you intervened in something going on with this pig, that you made the pig throw up and a bunch of stuff came out, and then there was a tower and some of you went inside, and then the Dragonborn went off with some kids, and it's a pretty just bare bones like recap of anything that he
Yep.
would have been able to see from the outside.
Okay. So the last part about the monster, is that the only part mentioning Buster?
Yes, because he didn't follow you when you split up, because he thought that the tower seemed like the bigger deal and more if you went inside the
Okay.
tower, so it seems like he just hung out waiting for that until you all came out again.
Okay. So your job is over. You're going to walk away. I'm going to take this page and you're not going to mention Buster at all.
Okay.
Okay. And what you are going to mention is how many people we helped. And that when a child was threatened, what did we do? We almost killed the person who threatened the child.
Well, I want to be really clear. I was not going to hurt that little girl. I was just asking her questions.
Well,
Well,
you
we
don't
know that
follow
now.
a little girl.
Okay,
Like that.
I understand that from your perspective. I can totally get where you're coming from. I just wanted to be clear that from my own personal perspective, I was not going to hurt her. I was just asking her questions, but I understand what you're saying too. So I just wanted it to be on the record that I wasn't going to hurt the girl.
Yeah, you're not going to remember what those kids looked like. You're not going to tell this guy, Nelson, what the kids look like or where they can be found.
Did you meet with this guy face to face?
No, he sent a magical message, but he said not to make stuff up because he no.
and he said he was friends with the
contacted me
Emperor.
with a magical message before. He might do it again, so I don't. He was going to tell me where to meet him, and or if I should just tell somebody else.
You know,
Was he paying you a lot of money?
I was going to be based on whatever information I got him, but I thought it would be probably a lot because of all the stuff I saw you do.
Do you want to
sounds
work
like
for
our-
us?
What?
Would you want to work for us?
Doing what?
We'd like to find out who this person is.
Okay.
We want to get close to this person and find out what they want from us. And if it's who I think it is, my friend Nedry really is going to want to speak to this guy.
yeah, I think it's the same person.
Me too. And if it is the same person,
So
he ruined an entire building in our city.
So, it sounds like you guys already know him, so I'm not really sure why I need to be involved at this point.
We don't know what he really looks like.
And we don't know how to get to him. He's always one step ahead of us.
I will be
So,
really honest with you that, while I appreciate that the tone of conversation seems to have changed a little bit, I am still very much feeling right now like I'm in over my head, and, maybe I should have just listened to my mom and been a candle maker after all, and it's just, I'm thinking right now that this is not the line of work for me, and I'm not sure that I can really offer you what you're asking for, and I am really worried right now that if I don't get eaten by that thing, I'm going to get swallowed by shadows, or I'm going to be hauled off to some secret prison in the Emperor's palace.
well, you already are in over your head.
Uh-huh.
And the only way to go is to keep going through. You can't go back now. So
Make a
you can
persuasion
do.
check with advantage because I'm terrified.
Nice.
It's getting into a
19.
spin-off show. It's like Breaking Bad.
Breaking Minion.
19.
Yeah, as you say that, there's just this brief, just 1,000-yard stare. Can't go back. All
No.
the way through.
These people know who you are now. We know who you are now.
I'm gonna have to go off the grid.
This guy found you with a magical message. I don't think going off grid is going to help.
Well, I mean, what would help? I mean, I am kind of, I am adrift in a sea of danger and unknown possibilities, and I am a little bit feeling like my life as I knew it is over, and now I am become something that I do not yet understand.
Now, Evan,
Yeah.
how were you supposed to contact this Nelson guy?
He was
He was
gonna,
gonna con-
he was gonna contact me and tell me where to drop off the information or meet him.
Did he say how long it would be before he contacted you?
I think I don't know because I didn't know how long you were going to be in town.
Well, we were supposed to leave today, so it'll probably be soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we might have to make other travel arrangements and maybe stick around.
Okay.
And you're going to lead us to whoever this is.
You're going to tell us. He's going to tell you to leave the notebook somewhere. Leave the notes somewhere. And then he'll come collect it later. That's my bet, because he doesn't like to be seen. You're going to tell us where that place is.
Okay. Okay.
And this never happened.
This never happened.
No.
You can see he's kind of pulling himself together now. You are witnessing Evan's new origin story right now in this moment. This is the father I shall become a bat of this guy's life.
We are good people doing good things in the world, and this person is trying to stop us from helping people, and you are going to do good by helping us.
It's the only way. You have to work outside the system.
Exactly. So we're going to walk back to the giant tower back there, and you're going to come with us, and you're going to stay with us until you hear from him.
All right.
That sound good to you?
There is a long moment where his face just goes on a whole roller coaster of emotions processing that, but where he ends up landing is like he goes through fear and despair and hysteria, and then kind of comes back around again to set jaw with determination. Is this? Yes, that's okay. I'm ready.
All right.
All right.
Tell Buster not to eat this guy.
Yeah. We'll walk ahead.
Okay.
Buster is definitely. You kind of urge Buster to kind of go back towards the tower, and he does keep kind of looking back, like, I don't know about this.
And I will drop my shadow skin so I'm like normal again.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll keep an eye on him, make sure he's coming with us. And he doesn't have any second thoughts.
Okay. He does have on him a short sword and a hand crossbow, but he is certainly, I think, from his body language, you don't get any sense that he is threatening you at all. Like I think, you know, we don't. You're pretty sure that you've broken this man and rebuilt him in your own image.
All right. Feels good to start a revolution, doesn't it, Evan?
Yes. I feel like I've never been truly alive before this moment.
All it took were some evil black ribbons.
200 years from now. And that is how the fall of Pashan began. with one man who chose to defy people working for the Empire.
Well, so I actually do. As much as I love all of that, it is also just kind of perhaps worth asking the question, because I don't know that we've really talked about it. Certainly not recently. Of like, how are all of you feeling about the Empire these days? I mean, obviously you're concerned about secret police or whatnot, but like, you know, I mean. What do you think? I don't need to push that on you necessarily, but I'm curious as you are heading back towards that tower.
Well, I mean, Zaylene really, this is her only experience with the Empire, and so far it hasn't been pretty good. So she doesn't have any thoughts about it. She's not worried about it. She doesn't even really understand what empires are, really.
Sinhorn has kind of always lived in the shadow of the Empire, and he has this kind of base level understanding that the Emperor is good, otherwise he wouldn't be the Emperor. But there are a lot of people that work for the Emperor that do bad things to keep themselves in the place that they are being friends with the Emperor. And so those are the people he's always been suspicious of.
Yeah.
So he thinks that, like, those are the people who got pissed off because, you know, in order for them to keep their position, they decided to blame us for something we didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean he's going to take it easy on them.
I don't think Sequential would have given it much thought at all and just assume that it's a benevolent, efficient bureaucracy.
Well,
that
I mean,
helps everybody.
yeah, I mean, I think to a large extent, everyone in kind of this part of the world, it's a little bit like asking the fish what they think of the water. You know, like, I don't think about it really. It's just, it's where I live. But so in the meantime, we cut back, and Nedry would have finished his identify, and I think that you do get a mental image in your head, Nedry. That first of all, like the well, so were you doing it on the door or like on the lock specifically? Like, because there's a couple of different sort of magical effects here that we could talk about.
It would be the lock, I
Okay.
think, because that's the most pressing immediate problem.
Yeah, so the lock is fairly straightforward in the way it's an arcane lock in the way that you understand it, but modified to be, you know, more or less permanent based on the plate, and to use an object rather than like a spoken password. But you do get sort of a mental picture of what the object is, which is basically, it's just sort of like a little ornamental, like polished stone sphere that looks like it would, you know, sit on a desk like a paperweight or something like that. So you have that image in your mind, and you know that that's what it would be. Doesn't mean you know where it is.
Okay. Well, I have a better idea of what I'm looking for, at least.
Looking for.
Is Caroline still only 6 inches tall?
Yep.
Well, it wouldn't look like much, I don't think. Mostly looking like a paperweight, a round ball of a paperweight. Stone probably does have some symbols on it, but it wasn't really that specific. I would prefer to be able to use that rather than your magic to get it out. I knew you could do
me too.
that, by the way. I wasn't really worried about it, but I had hoped to be able to make this a little bit easier to get back and forth for all of us.
Well, why don't you start down here in this room, and I will start at the top. I'll go back through the door and work my way down, and we'll meet in the middle.
All right. How long has it been? Do you think anybody's worried? Never mind.
Well, nobody else has come in, and it was obvious enough when Lynn came through that, like, they could come in if they wanted.
So, back through the little door, and I will go down to the 4th floor
Sure. Yeah,
and start in there.
right. That was the place where the halfling had. It was presumably a workshop of some kind, but all of the stuff in there had pretty much been smashed up against the walls and everything. But you can make an investigation check in there if you want. Are you doing the same on the 1st floor, Nidri?
Yeah.
And you're basically just looking for this thing, or are you doing anything else?
No, the focus is on that. If you find something else that's interesting, but he's
Sure.
trying to be focused, it's not usually all that well effective.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking for anything that looks like a polished stone ball. I got an 8, so
Okay.
I got a
There-
12.
Yeah.
that room is a mess.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk in there. There's a lot of stuff that there's a James in the video. There's a lot of stuff that looks like smashed bits and pieces of various magical contraptions. There's a lot of piles of junk. You don't, like, you sort through it, but it just feels like a bunch of garbage, and you don't see it. Like, you know, maybe like some of this stuff would be interesting, but it's a little bit like saying a bunch of really nice porcelain statues are interesting, but less interesting is the pile of little pieces left after they're smashed.
Yep. Then I'd go on down, keep going down to the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
Nedry's turn.
Go ahead.
12.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you don't find it in there.
All right. I know there's a spell for this. Just figured if I can learn that one.
and then just go up to the 2nd floor, try again.
Right. I will go ahead and if you guys are just going to go ahead and search the 2nd and 3rd floor respectively, you can each make one more check.
And a 19
25.
that time.
Okay. You still don't find it in the bedroom. You mostly determined that all of the other things of interest had already been taken out of that one.
So up
Nedry's
to
in
the
kitchen
kitchen
/ alchemy
level.
lab. Yeah.
Yeah. So 25.
Okay. Yeah. So you do spot lots of nifty little things that in there that are just like keep, sort of attracting your attention. It's like, oh, that's neat, and you look at the faucet for the sink. You think would probably give water, even though it doesn't actually appear to be like connected to anything. And likewise, the drain doesn't seem to be connected to anything, and yet it functions, and that's pretty cool. And then there's the whole little wall of force thing, and lots of other those things, but you don't see the little sphere you're looking for.
All right. I think you're already. No, I guess we'll both end up on the third floor.
Yeah, well, yeah. So you would kind of meet up.
Yeah, we'd meet on
on
the
the
stairs,
stairs,
on
yeah.
in between.
Right.
I didn't
Any look-
find it.
Yeah, me
Unfortunately.
neither.
There's a spell to do that. Maybe we can find a scroll or find it somewhere. I don't know it. I thought about learning it, but I've got too much to learn.
Yeah, maybe.
Looks like you might
Yeah, I
have to be
guess-
the door for a while.
Yeah, looks that way.
What do you think of this monster that seems to have attached itself to Zinhorn? I'm a little worried for him.
No.
I mean, if it recognizes the song that's tied to him and his parents, well, I can see why he would really be attached to it. But I worry for him. That thing is huge and dangerous.
Well, we're trying to make it less huge. So,
Yeah. Still.
I trust Zinhorn, and if he says it's okay, then it's okay with me.
Well, I trust Zinhorn, but I know what it's like to be distracted by something that seems really important to you.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how to ask him that because, well, for one thing, I'm not coming anywhere near that thing. I think it could eat me, like in one bite.
Probably. Well, we'll try not to find out, though, okay?
Well,
It would probably
yeah.
take a couple of bites.
Judging from the way the doors are built in this tower, and kind of looking up at it now, will Buster even fit through the doors?
You would have to
I can
squeeze.
help with that.
Yeah, you would have to squeeze. It is like a 5-foot hallway, and he is a large creature, but mechanically he can squeeze through it, provided that you could persuade a creature like Buster that he needs to. He could sort of squeeze his way through.
So you can only open the door twice more today, right?
Well, I mean, technically. I mean, I could use higher level spell slots, but.
Well, I'm just trying to work out the sequence here. So if we're going to test to see if someone's still small on the outside, we'll have to come outside, and one of us will have to still be small. Then we're going to have to get Buster back in, but if that small person is going to get big again, they have to come in as well, and so do you. And then we need to see if Buster can come out small, and so everybody has to come out again, and that's exactly twice. If you have some reserves, that's good, but we have to be careful about how we use them.
If need be, I can also make him smaller, but only for a minute, so.
Yeah, I don't know how the two spells would interact with each other. Also, there's the device as well, which could make someone small for a little while, but I think you have to be with them at the time.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like it was a little painful to use because it's, broken and sparking and stuff.
Yeah, I had to help make sure that Sequential wasn't hurt from that.
Okay.
So, it's weird. All of these things all of a sudden seem to be possible. I do kind of wish I could fit through the door in the other way, though. Yeah, I don't mind being who I am, but I hate slowing everyone down.
You don't slow us down. You're exactly who you need to be.
I know I'm okay, but I still don't walk that fast.
That's
I have
okay.
a spell for it.
I
but
don't. There's a lot of things that I don't do very fast or very well, and that's okay. There are
No,
other
that's
things
not
that I do
true.
really well.
You're pretty good at just about everything you touch.
I'm not very strong, and I get hurt pretty easily. I'm fast, but I'm not. I can't carry a lot of stuff, and I don't hit very hard. But
I'm.
that's
I
okay
mean,
because
you
there's other
are.
things that I can do.
I did write down a description of you once as Carolina Slayer of Monsters. I don't feel like I exaggerated all that much.
Yeah. Sequential gave me a really nice little addition to my sword, and it was very useful in that particular situation. And I think that sword may be pretty awesome. But I can't do all the kinds of magic that you can do.
Sometimes I'm not sure I can either. Still got so
You're
much to
very
learn.
good at these spells, though, and you learn so fast.
Well, I have to. If I don't learn fast, then there'll be too many things I don't know by the time I've stopped learning. And I can't have that.
Well, and that's something you're really good at. You're really good at asking questions and understanding things. You don't have to be fast on your feet.
Well, that
Just fast
reminds
up
me.
here.
Kind of pops open his book and flips to some of the pages in the back where this long list of questions has been written down.
If you've got a minute, I wouldn't mind asking you a few. I promise, no more than 3.
Okay.
Really? Oh, okay.
And you see at the top of the page, he's written Linquiry.
When you're different, do you ever notice if you think differently? Like, I'm still confused as to who you all are, because you seem so different, and I don't understand how that works.
Well, it's not really that I'm thinking differently. It's just the way that I think is expressed differently. Does that make sense? It's like speaking a different language. So I will say something in Elven. It's like, so I may be saying something this way, but it still means the same thing. It's still the same thoughts. It's just being expressed in a different way.
Okay. I think I can understand that. That'll also probably apply when I learn some... Well, if I learn some transmutation magic. I haven't decided if it's worth it yet. So, let's see. Have you ever changed without you really meaning to change? Like, if you had a thought one time, and it just sort of led you to think about one of your others, and then found yourself changing? Or is it always deliberate?
It's pretty deliberate. When I was a kid, when I was little, I didn't really know what I was doing. So, not as much control. But anymore, I really have to think about it to do it, so.
And kind of related, and it's the last one for today. Thank you. I've been wanting to ask a lot of these for a while. When you fall asleep, do you always wake up as you? I mean, do you always wake up as Carolina? Or do you sometimes slip back to being Carolina? How does that work? Well, I guess
Well,
you don't know how it
it's-
works, but
It's like I said, like I have to think about it. And I have to want to change to make that happen. So, like, I just go to sleep at night and I stay how I was when I went to sleep. And I can't remember that it's ever been any different.
well, it's kind of a relief, because if we all got up in the morning and you were either different than I expected or different than you were, it would get a little confusing. And first thing in the morning, everything is kind of confusing.
No, I understand that. Which is why I'm glad that it happens the way it does, because I wouldn't want to confuse anybody like that. Those mornings are hard enough.
You're pretty remarkable, you know that? I don't know how any of this works, but you do it as naturally as breathing. That's pretty magical.
Well, I'm just who I am. And I think everybody is who they are very naturally. So
You are who you are, all of you. So to speak. No, I think we've worked out that twice, and we can do it that way. I'm a little worried that Buster might bust things. So I want to make sure the doors are closed before we go.
Okay. So this time you go up and I'll go down and we'll close doors on the way. And I'll meet you when you're small and I'll be big and then I'll open the door and we can go out, right?
I won't try climbing your shoulder.
I was just bored. Sorry. It's okay.
I didn't know it was you.
So we do
All
that.
right. Yep. So you close all the doors. You come back around again, and then so Carolina, you are using knock to open the door, and Nedry is currently small with you.
Putting his fingers in his ears because this is really loud, especially at this size.
Yep.
All right. So you cast the spell.
Boom, boom.
The door slams open, and you emerge. Nedry, as soon as you step across the threshold, you feel a huge wave of vertigo, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right.
Also, would I be holding on to Nedry? Like,
Well, I mean, you tell me how you. I assumed you were not doing that specifically because you didn't know what was going to happen.
I would have left it up to Nedry.
I mean, he said not
I don't
going to
mind,
climb
it's
your shoulder,
faster.
but you guys tell me.
Yeah.
Just make sure to wait for me because I don't move that quickly.
Sorry.
Wait for me a little bit because I don't move that quickly anymore.
Okay, what was your saving throw?
11.
Okay. You avoid throwing up as you suddenly return to full size while stepping through. But unlike when you're walking around through the doors in there and you don't feel any change, you don't sense that, you definitely feel it coming out the door this way, and you feel it's like a rubber band that's been stretched, suddenly snapping back into place, and it is pretty disorienting for a moment. But you avoid throwing up, so good for you.
Oh boy, that was not nuts.
Didn't
Okay,
work?
well,
The door slams
Only for
closed
the-
behind the two of you, and the tower once again. And
only for the briefest of seconds,
and
unfortunately.
also, Carolina and Nedry, as you emerge, Zaleen, Zinhorn, and Sequential now have a half elf with them who eyes very red, obviously been crying a lot recently, but now is standing there like he is part of the team.
Do we have another pet? What happened?
How long were we gone?
This is Evan,
Okay.
and he was working for a mysterious person who wanted to find information about us.
Somebody from Pashon.
hmm
Really?
And now Evan is going to work with us to find this mysterious person because Nedry, I think that you would really like to find this person.
Oh,
I'll do
Yeah.
whatever I can to help. We've got to take this corrupt system down any way we can.
Yes. Yes.
And Nedry will walk over to him and hold out his hand.
great. Thanks.
I'll be
Shake
right
your
back.
hand.
So, Nedry, didn't you have some magic paper?
Oh, of course.
I think we need to send a message to the bookship and thank him for his hospitality and let him know that we will no longer be needing him.
I can. It takes a while, though.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to make it to the bookship in time to tell him face to face.
Oh, that's okay. And I can send off.
Oh, that's true.
I can just let him know.
Yeah, because the person who hired Evan here is going to contact him and let him know where to quote unquote meet, but we think he's going to just ask him to drop off his notes somewhere.
Oh. Wait, I thought he was
So-
working for us.
He is, but
I'm
he
a
was
double
working-
agent.
He's a double agent.
Oh.
He is he's a vigilante now. He's going to help us take down the system.
That's pretty brave, Evan.
I feel like Carolina would sidle up to him and is like, are we friends now?
Like to Evan?
Yeah.
Like when you say friends now, like he's like, this is my first conversation with you, but yes, I hope so.
Well, it's nice to meet you. Always glad to have more friends.
He offers to shake your hand too.
And shakes
wanna-
it very like excitedly.
Uh,
Yay, more friends!
Everyone
Says,
is very nice.
You know, I hope your other friends won't take this the wrong way, but you seem a lot friendlier.
Oh, they'll grow on you.
Well, you know, I think honestly, it was good that they were, you know, they were tough on me. I needed to hear it.
Tough love.
Mm. Yeah, they're all good people.
Why
And
were they
so
tough on
far
you?
that they only really do what they think is best for other people. They try very hard. You'll see.
And we did think that you were going to hurt that little girl.
Okay.
I mean, we know now that you weren't going to, but we
Yeah.
did think that.
I just want to be really clear on that, because like that's not, you know, I wouldn't have taken a job like if that was what it was. Like watching people is one thing. Like, doesn't seem like it's hurting anyone just to say like here's what they're doing. Like anyone could see you, but like, yeah, I wouldn't do that though. But now, I see that the power of the information, knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
This is very true.
It's a lot of things, but that's one of them.
Do we want to
Don't-
plant any
Don't
false
confuse
seeds
him,
or
Nedry.
false flags in the notes?
I mean, well, Zinhorn did take out a page because, and I agree, he thinks it's best that we don't really let anyone else know about Buster right now. Because,
Sure.
I mean, that would make us an even bigger target than we obviously already are.
So,
But, do we have anything that we want to point?
well, also, I just want to say, in the interest of helping our plan be successful here, they did say that if I made stuff up, they would know. So I don't know if we have a way to I don't know if he was going to try to read my mind or something. I don't know if we have a way to stop that. I'm not sure how he would know, but that's what he said.
Well,
Okay,
see,
see-
here's the thing. All we have to do is tell them we left town on, this afternoon, and that's not a lie. We're not in town anymore. That's it.
It's a little more subtle than that, depending on how the adversary can look into people's minds. If they can do it like I do, then they can pick out more than just truth or false. They can root around and look for things.
Evan is kind of staring into space and going, "The adversary."
It's just the name I've come up with because we didn't really have another name. And it didn't really seem like he deserved a 3-letter.
I think his name is, what was it, Ned? Did he
Wait,
say this
wait.
time?
Nelson.
Yeah.
Nelson.
Yeah, he said to call him
Ah,
Nelson and that he was a friend of the Emperor.
Yeah.
Um,
He also-
Says a lot of
Nedry-
things, though, if it's the same person that I think
Nedry
it
and
is.
Carolina can make a history check.
History.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at that. What am I doing?
That is a 10. That's
Okay.
a terrible roll.
12.
Yeah. That's a weird thing to call yourself. Like
What?
Nelson?
the idea. No, well,
A friend of the Emperor?
Yeah. That's weird. I mean, that's like it's not like a common figure of speech or anything.
Yeah, there's something weird about it, but I can't place it, so.
Do you think? Oh, what if? Oh, guys, what if he wanted to set our friend Evan up here because he knew that we would catch him?
What?
That's awful.
Well, I mean, he's done a lot of awful things. He ate an entire building with some kind of weird tentacle tree demons or something.
Well,
Fungus,
that's just
wasn't
assuming. That's just assuming it's the same person.
I'm,
It might not be.
Well,
That's a good point.
Wait, who
there
ate
are
the building?
more than.
He had
Wow.
some kind of fungus, and the fungus ate the building.
Yeah, he just unleashed it in town. It was
it
terrible.
like-
it was like a government building too.
Nasty
We
stuff.
didn't even get to go to the library because of it.
Don't mention that.
I'm still bitter.
I hope Marshal Tabitha the Stars made it out. Never did get a chance to check on that. A lot of people didn't.
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
sure do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That wasn't really our. We didn't go there with that intention. It's more like it happened to us rather than anything else.
Well, they were going to try to keep us prisoner for whatever reason.
Well,
What?
I
Who
mean,
would
I
want to
guess I'm
stop
getting
us?
a better understanding now of why people would want to know what you guys are doing. At least it seems like you are at least adjacent to a lot of things happening.
But that's the thing. I mean, it seemed like when we went to that meeting to clarify what happened at the railway station,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to keep us.
Well,
But
everything was
why?
fine until something happened. Something changed, and I don't know what it was.
But they wanted to keep us there. We overheard them say that, not to let the subjects escape. It's like they're trying to prevent us from doing what we've been doing.
Well, it's also
We didn't even
possible
really
there's
know
more,
what we're doing.
No, I
there's
know.
more than one group of people that's interested. I mean,
And he kind of looks up.
maybe we need to talk about this more privately.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of indicating
Yeah,
towards
Evan
Evan.
kind of
Should-
like
should
looks
I-
around like, who are you talking about? I'm part of the
But is there
team.
somebody listening?
Should I go ahead and tell Nilra or that Nilra?
By the way, I absolutely
Nearly-
made
nearly,
his
yeah,
name on
yeah.
purpose to do this. Yeah, by the way, yeah. So.
Should I send him a message that we will not be joining back up with him?
Yeah, but
And
also
thank him
make
for
sure
his
you thank
hospitality.
him. Yeah.
I hope to see him again.
Yeah, he had a lot of good books.
Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, I'll use sending to send a message to the owner of the book ship, letting him know that we have obtained a different method of conveyance, and thanking him for his hospitality and access to his magnificent collection. Have a lovely day.
I am happy and gratified to hear that you enjoyed your time on my ship. I wish you well on the rest of your journey.
Okay, it's all taken care of.
He's
that
probably
mean
not-
we're
Probably
gonna
just
stay
as
here?
well.
We'll stay
We-
here for a little while because we could use some time to study what remains of the portal here.
I mean, not a very long time, but we were going to try to see if we could track down this friend of the Emperor.
Yeah.
If he,
It might not be the adversary.
I don't know.
Well, either way, I don't think we should stay super close here just because, I don't know, maybe somebody saw us come in here and like if they track us down, then, you know, they'll find us still here.
We do
Yeah.
have a rather conspicuous friend.
Yeah.
Not
we
you,
weren't
Evan.
Very
Yeah.
subtle.
Once again, he's like, oh, no, wait, no, yeah, okay, no, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
We can't exactly just walk into town with Buster.
No.
Yeah,
We
and
need to
while we
figure
were
out another
there,
way
we
to get
weren't
there.
particularly subtle either, so.
And you made
Well,
it clear
he
he
did
can't be
help.
left alone.
We're going to
Or
need to get at
won't
least
be
a
left
wagon.
alone.
A
Do you think-
wagon.
Do you think that it could, like, you could put a wagon attached to the
Buster?
thing?
I'll walk over to Buster and
As you're approaching, like he had been relatively chill, but as you're approaching, there's a little bit of like, "What are you doing?"
that's a good boy. It's okay. It's okay.
Go ahead and make
No, but I'm
an
really just-
animal handling check if you like.
Yeah.
Sequential is now a recording of an animal handling. That is okay.
There,
You are
there.
okay.
There. Oh, an 18.
Holy
Oh,
crap.
yeah.
It's a good recording.
okay.
It sounds like
Um,
Zinhorn.
Yeah. So yeah, as I think, you know, he seems relatively calm right now, and then there's a little bit of like, He's watching Zinhorn to make sure, like, Zinhorn seems okay with this? Yeah. All right. Okay. So what are you doing other than just, like, reading him?
So I will, stroke his back, but I'm actually measuring, and
Yeah, got a tough
yeah, this
rubbery
is
hide,
actually
yeah?
good symmetry,
Mhm.
musculature. I could rig
Yeah.
up a harness very easily.
He does
Maybe
seem
we
very
should-
strong.
Maybe we should at least ask Zinhorn. I mean, he is Zinhorn's friend.
If we want options, I'm just saying I could rig a harness to pull a wagon.
I don't know that we would want to do that because he tends to run through the bushes and jump up and pounce on things and grab birds out of the air. And I think he would pretty quickly tear the cart to shreds, even if he was willing to carry it.
Maybe though it'd be like I don't know a lot of things, but I was looking through some of the books, and sometimes like with animals, they need a job. Like some animals need a job. And maybe if Buster has a job, he would calm down a little bit. Like if he felt like he had a purpose.
Well, I think
And-
maybe a backpack might be a better idea because we can start small and see if he'll put up with it, and it's not going to get destroyed if he goes jumping through the bushes.
Well,
Sure.
also, like, you
Because
know
if a
how
moose
with
shows
like
up, he's going
horses,
to kill it.
horses sometimes they put on those things on the side of their heads so that
Blinders.
they don't get distracted by things on the sides.
Mhm.
Maybe there's
Yeah,
something like that.
Horses aren't actively
Um,
trying to hunt things,
Yeah.
but I can see where that I don't
Just
know might work. But
something
we're going to
that
have
would-
to try it.
Something that would make him visually acceptable in civilization. I could craft a muzzle.
Or
With
something
a,
that
Taking
just looks like a
polymorph,
muzzle.
you guys. I should have
Muzzle
taken
with a
polymorph.
quick release.
I was like, I won't need that. What do I need that for?
Yeah. That was
Damn
me
it.
with locate object. It's like, I don't know about that one.
I don't know. We polymorphed before we turned like a god into a little butterfly. What do you mean? What am I going to do with that?
Maybe next level I'll switch them out. But yeah, no, okay.
My only concern is it's going to be a very long walk to Emersham from here. So we're going to need to have some sort of, horse and cart or something. And I don't know if that would be all that friendly with any horse, or rather the horse probably would be rather concerned too.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
we definitely
Yeah.
have to have blinders for the horse if we had Buster along.
I want to have a blind
Yeah.
horse.
Or we might just need to have Buster be, a couple of 100 yards in front of the horse.
I don't know if we want him that far away.
Yeah, that'd be too far away. I mean,
Well, no,
I
I mean, I'd be with him, but yeah.
you'd
Um,
have to go pretty fast. And I don't think, I know like he's really tough and everything, but I don't think it's a good idea to put that much distance between everybody.
We really don't know much about him.
No,
and if
we
he came
don't.
from the same place that those hands did, maybe he's confused with the song and all now, but maybe he'll change. We don't know much about him. And from what you
Maybe.
said, he changed already. Yeah, he
But
grew
I've got some
much bigger.
sketches. Some, like maybe, some of you guys can go back to the bookship and see if there's any information you can find out about what Buster is. And, I guess maybe he and I could start walking, or
Is
I don't
there
think
a-
there's time. I think they're leaving soon.
Yeah, is there
Yeah.
a library in this town?
I hope
Carolina?
so.
Doubt
Uh,
it.
I think that you all think that there might be one, but it's going to be tiny compared to Kashan.
Someone has a bookshelf. That was probably the
Even-
best we can hope for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can continue on our destination, and there's a library there. But first, we need to deal with this.
Maybe let's go an hour out of town and find a place to set up for the night, and we can stay in the tower.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah, I suppose most of us could. I don't know if
What? I mean,
Can't just anybody enter the tower?
well, yeah, I think so because all those other people were in there. And all
Well,
that
it'll be just
junk.
like camping then. We just set a watch.
But what are our thoughts on using the backpack?
Also, we have a guard dog now. And I kind of grin and wave at Buster.
He snorts at you.
Like, does anybody have any thoughts on that at all?
I'm hoping to make more of it, but its occupant right now is not the best neighbor.
Well, I
Well,
mean, maybe
also,
Buster,
Buster
could
would be
keep
a
him
good,
in
good
line.
guard dog for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
There's there's a lot in there he could damage, isn't there?
No, we took all of it out, except for like the tables and stuff that
Mm.
the alarm system.
He probably destroyed that, and that would set off the alarms. But I mean, so unless he goes in one of the cages, but I don't think he'd like that very much.
No,
No, he wouldn't fit, and it would probably break. One possibility is that not all of us have to go into the same spot. Some can go into the tower, some can go into the bag. I'm one of the people that has to go into the bag if that's the case, because I'm the only one who can get us out. And right now, Carolina is the only one who can get us out of the tower.
Why would you want to go in the bag?
It's a quiet place to study, I think. I
you
a
have
lot
to
study.
sleep too, though, Nedry. I mean, it's important.
Study is important too.
Well,
I
yes,
sleep.
but you can't properly study if you're not properly rested.
Mm-hmm.
I sleep better by my books,
Well,
although I don't have a bookshelf yet.
Evan kind of says,
I've never slept anywhere but my own bed before.
Wow.
Oh, well, you're in for an adventure.
Mm.
Well, do you have a place in town?
Well, yeah, but I think I have to leave that part of my life behind now.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
It's,
Well,
it's
I
for their
mean-
own protection.
Do you have a family?
I have a mom.
How old are you?
so he looks like in his 30s. So, I mean,
But
I-
he's a half elf, right? So
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, half elves are not. They live a little longer than humans, but they age at approximately the same rate.
Your mom will be worried about you.
Well, yeah, but it's better than putting her in danger.
That's true. I mean, that's why we left Bashan.
Yeah.
Maybe when we're somewhere safe, if you could contact her like you did just whatever you just did a minute ago. That way
Well,
I could
there's-
tell her that I
Yeah.
found my destiny.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll be
So,
right back.
I mean, the tower, people could be inside it when it's small, right?
I don't know. It's never seemed to be small when anyone's still inside.
Well, no,
Well,
we
I
haven't-
mean,
But they were inside when
When it
they
was
were
in the
inside the
pig.
tower when it was in the pig. Yeah.
so my question is, if someone is in the tower when it gets small, do they get shrunk automatically because, or like expanded, or was that just because of the weird device?
Well, I think everything in the tower is relative to the tower. And when I stepped out, I was small, but as soon as I stepped out, I was no longer relative to the tower and I became big again.
Yeah, you feel
So-
okay? You looked a little woozy there for a minute.
It was very strange. It was kind of like being stretched all at once.
That does
Like
not sound
attack
pleasant.
people or
No, I don't think so.
With the identify, did I get any sense of how that mechanism works? Was there any sense of? I guess it was.
mean,
No, I was
'cause
looking at the. I was
that's
looking at the
specifically
alarm.
why I asked
Yeah.
you about the
No, that's
lock
fine.
versus the door.
With some study, I can tell you a bit more, but I didn't want to spend all day in there. Well, actually, I kind of did, but I didn't think it was something we needed to do right now.
I'm just thinking, like, so say this whole thing with Evan goes sideways and Nelson is after Evan. Could we keep Evan in the tower and carry it around to keep him safe?
Probably. We'd have to stock it.
Just
We should
to,
rebuild parts of it anyway.
just to clarify, you have never seen the tower be small while you knew that there was someone inside.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. The only times you have been aware of anyone being inside, it was full size, and it shrank to small when everybody came out.
That's weird then, because then what happened to the people when they were in the pig?
I think that was a property more of the pig and its connection to this, and maybe that broken device as well. There's a lot of unknowns at the moment.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Requires more testing, really.
Mhm.
I have a set of experiments to perform, but there doesn't seem to be time.
And I guess like it wouldn't shrink back down again unless everybody was out.
Well, actually, sequential. You have a way of with machines. Does it work with
Sure.
the tower?
I mean, it doesn't.
I mean, when you touched the
I-
walls and stuff inside,
Yeah.
like it didn't read as one big machine to you.
Yeah, didn't really read as a machine as such. More just. Guess
That's
yeah,
worth-
doesn't work
Maybe-
on architecture.
Maybe the little shrink and large ray, like sequential, could spend some time with it and maybe figure out how to fix it.
Well, that sounds like an excellent project for
Yeah.
when we've moved on and settled in for a night.
Yeah. Are we going to spend some time here and study this portal or what's left of it? Or are we just going to leave? I'd like to know more, but I don't know if there's going to be anything here left.
It's
If
also
it only shows up every so often.
starting to get towards sunset right now.
Where did those
Yeah, we
kids
should
go?
leave soon.
They went.
We sent.
We sent them home.
Oh, good.
So,
How far outside of the city is this wooded area that we're in now?
Not far, like 20-minute walk max.
Evan, do you know of a place nearby where we could rest outside somewhere, I guess, out of the wind?
Well,
Outside
I
the
mean,
city?
just like you're kind of already in the woods. I mean, I think this would probably not be exactly the spot that I would pick, especially since you said that there's some creepy portal here. But I mean, what are you just looking for, like a campsite?
Yeah.
I
Well, I
think
mean,
we should
you
just
can't
head
go-
east.
Well, we need to be here when the contact is made so that we
Well,
can.
we'll only go like
Also-
an hour.
East from where you are, he says east is just like into the marshes.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably
we don't
have
need to
follow
go
the
back
road.
into the marshes.
No, I was just thinking like relative to Emersham.
Mm.
I
The,
mean, yeah, Emersham is basically currently from where you
Oh
are.
yeah,
is directly
south and
southeast.
east.
Yeah, but you would need to go almost directly south for a little ways before you would be out of the marshes. There is a road between Gorn and Emersham.
Zinhorn, when the portal appeared, I guess, did you see it? You saw the arms, you said, but did you see the
So
portal itself?
the first time that we got here, I didn't see anything at all. But when I walked toward the center of the depression in the ground, Buster was growling at me, and I think the portal was already open because I could feel something was wrong. Like my scales were standing on end.
Did
you
you
have
hear
any
the
sense of-
music?
What?
Did you hear the music right away? Or did that come later?
I think that came a little bit later.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick up a rock and like chuck it into the depression that's in the ground there. Just like boop. See what happens.
It detonates. You're all annihilated. No, I mean, it goes through
Poor
into the
Evan.
dirt. Yeah.
But did you get a sense of how tall it was, roughly? If not, I can work from an estimate.
The point where the arms seemed to emerge was only like 2 feet off the ground.
You relay that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will
I
throw a
don't-
rock about 2 feet off the ground and like across the.
Skipping stones across the divot in the ground.
Like, see if I hit anything. Just keep on.
You
Toss
toss
the doubles.
a couple more, and then you see another one go in there, and then Evan is holding another rock. He's like, I mean, is this what we're doing?
Well,
Sure.
we aren't really going to have the time to study this fully, and the fact that it comes and goes means we could be here for a week or a year or forever and never see it again. But I get the feeling that everybody wants to move on, and I know that feeling. So rather than just leaving it like this, I was thinking we could build up a mound of dirt around and over it so that if someone stumbled across it, they wouldn't be caught by the arms, hopefully, or at least would have some warning as the arms push through the ground. I can move some of the earth and try to pile it up, but if anybody has a better way to do it, well, I would love to hear about it.
Toss another pebble. It's my contribution.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's going right through. It doesn't seem to be interfered with in any way.
so Nedry kind of starts to circle around where the depression is and starts using mold earth
Huh.
to build up a bank of earth and then build up another bank of earth and sort of basically slowly mounding up on the sides and then slowly filling it in. So it's at least, he's probably going to go for at least 10 feet tall mound. It will still look like just turned up dirt, but
Sure.
at least it would be hopefully covering whatever
Yeah.
portal is there if it's tide
So,
located.
so Buster is immediately like fascinated by what's happening, like because it's not sudden, right? It doesn't move quickly. It's just like gradually shaping, right? And it seems like fascinated and kind of just like jumps around and he's sniffing at it a little bit, and then he starts digging nearby. And because you're so close to marshes here, you don't have to get too deep before it's pretty like wet soil. And he starts getting really muddy, but he seems like he's having a great time rolling in this great big muddy hole he's made alongside. what
Nedry's
you're
trying
doing.
to trying to keep on the other side of the hole, preferably behind a larger bank. So
Yeah.
that's what he spends a couple
Alright,
of minutes
yeah.
doing at least.
Yeah, so yeah, you were certainly able to do that, and in the process, yeah, Buster has gotten himself absolutely filthy, but he seems to have had a good time doing so.
All right. I have one more
So-
thought, but I don't know if it'll necessarily work, and I could use some help. A very convincing sentence to tell people to go away. I'm not sure if
Buster
that would really
goes
help.
over and sits leaning against you, Zinhorn, just transferring some mud to you.
Yeah. I'm never going to be clean again.
Just digitate.
Yep.
Thank
Cleans
you.
off a patch like this big. So there was one more thing.
Doom.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
looking for the wording of a sentence to tell people to go away if
Okay.
it would be a good idea.
Doom is nigh. Go away.
All I can think of is like the rock faces in Labyrinth. The
Not that way.
Evan says, "Well, you know, like I grew up around here, and I just have to I have to let you know that like if you put something on there that says warning, like that's just gonna like anyone who finds that is just gonna say warning, what's that, and just like immediately dig it up. Like so, like if you try to just say like you know abandoned latrine or something." Like that would make people stay away, I think.
oh yeah, That's
Mm.
perfect.
Plague.
Yeah, plague victims.
What about like a mine shaft? Danger mine shaft.
I think the latrine idea is
I
probably
like
really good.
the abandoned latrine.
I mean, a mine shaft means there was a mine, and someone would probably go looking for
Yeah.
it too.
Good
Mhm.
point. Abandoned
Alright.
latrine.
Nobody's gonna
Nobody
look
goes
at a
looking for
latrine.
that.
So Nedry will go over to the front of the hill, reach into a pouch and pull out a little bit of dust, which he sprays over and starts writing a message. Let me write down the message here so I know what it is.
Evan is just beaming that you took his idea and you're running with it. He's just
Kind of nudge him like, good job.
thanks. Like I just feel like full of purpose now. Like everything's just clear now.
Good. That's important in life.
Clarity and purpose.
Yeah.
So are we gonna go south then?
So what is this message that you're doing? You're writing abandoned latrine, right, Nedry? But what are you doing it with a spell or something?
He is doing it with a spell. And when he's completed, he'll put like an exclamation point on the message. And the trigger for the spell is if anybody gets within 10 feet. Actually, you may say make it within 15 feet.
Okay.
So it's a fair distance. And he tests it by moving within 15 feet. And you hear Nedry's voice sounding very officious.
Warning, this is an abandoned latrine. The ground is unstable and some of us were really sick. Stay back, it stinks.
I used magic mouth.
All right.
I'd stay away.
One of the details about that spell that I like is that it really does make like
A
a
mouth.
little mouth on there that actually speaks the words.
Like getting a howler in the mail. But it's
Would
Nedry.
would one call this a foul mouth?
Oh,
So hopefully that'll keep people away. Also, if the portal opens up and we're back again, we should see the ground disturbed, so we'll know that something happened.
Mhm.
So I do have one small. There's like one little worry concern I've got about heading straight south. Somebody might not be too happy with us.
Who?
That spirit that we saved.
Oh,
the
yeah,
girl
yeah, yeah,
from,
yeah.
That's
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still a little baby spirit right now. I think we have at least a couple weeks before it's powerful enough to kill us all.
oh!
Yeah, but he was nasty though.
I just got the ability to get the I think it's control water spell.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
That would totally mess that spirit up. Like,
Well, I'd rather avoid it than have to fight it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of going south is that we're avoiding the marshes. Like if we go southeast, then we have to go through the marshes if we
Yeah.
go east.
Well, so it's still a little bit marshy around here anyway. Gorn itself is on almost like a little island around it because like what you know of the history is that Gorn used to be well away from the lake. But then the lake, as it kind of spread out and became marshes, it covers more overall territory. So it kind of enveloped and surrounded Gorn, but Gorn itself is kind of on higher ground. So, you do pass through the marshes a little bit along the road, but the road itself is clear.
Oh, marshy, marshy, marshy.
Well, we should go before we lose the light completely.
Mhm.
Do we want to try to hire a wagon, or are we walking for ever?
I think we're gonna walk for a little while and then
Yeah.
deal with what we have to deal with this weird Nelson person, because that will have to bring us back into the town anyway.
Yeah, I'm
Probably.
thinking only go like maybe an hour,
All right.
maybe an hour away.
And so,
Well-
Right.
I think as the pocket protectors gather their things and prepare to begin a new phase of their journey, a new friend in tow,
Two.
Two new
them.
friends.
Well, I've counted Buster as already joining the party,
Oh, okay.
so yeah.
He joined last session.
Yeah, exactly. So we will leave things there and pick back up next week for more adventure on so many levels.
So many levels.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
I can't find. There we go.